There's a quote by Friedrich Nietzsche that goes, "And those who were seen dancing were thought to be insane by those who could not hear the music." Say it again. "And those who were seen dancing were thought to be insane by those who could not hear the music." Damn, bro, talk about just someone who's, that is just good. I don't know what else to say other than that's just a good-ass quote. And sometimes in your life, there's going to be things that you're going to do. And if you're someone who has some kind of dream or goal or something that doesn't align necessarily with what other people or a large group of people in your life, whether that's your family, your partner, your friends, whatever, just anyone who imposes their opinion on you. If you have something that you want to do that doesn't align with something that they think is the best thing for you, they're not going to understand you. They just won't understand you. A lot of people are not going to understand you because if you're someone that wants a crazy job, and you're going to start cutting out your friends and cutting out your family and cutting out your sleep and cutting out your eating and your health and everything else, and people are going to come up to you and they're going to say, "What are you doing? It's just a job. It's just money. Why aren't you sleeping more? Why aren't you exercising? Why aren't you seeing your friends?" They don't understand what you want. They don't understand that there's something that to you is of a higher power and that to you means more than any of these other things in the world. And there's a ton of different ways to think about that. Like that's a negative thing, it's a positive thing, whatever. It doesn't matter. What's important is how it makes you feel. And this is a thing that I've become big on recently because a lot of people come to me and I have these conversations with people. And a lot of people like to use the word right and wrong. They like to say that I don't think that that's right. Or it's not even like people will say I disagree, which is good because you want to disagree about things, but then you want to disagree and still be open-minded enough to kind of come back and be able to be convinced to agree. You don't want to agree, but you should stay open-minded enough in any conversation that if the opportunity to be convinced to agree with that person becomes plausible, then you can then you can end up agreeing. But a lot of people will say I disagree and then follow that up with saying that's wrong. I disagree and I think that's wrong. I'm going to tell you right now, there's nothing in this world that is wrong. There is no opinion, there is no nothing that is wrong. And until you understand that, you will not understand a lot of things about perspective and a lot of things about the complexity of psychology in individuals on a global scale and why different, countries work in different ways, why history has worked the way it has, why different people act the way they do, why, we have morals that stand totally different from one person to another, from one family to another, from one company to another. Until you understand that every single person sees the world from their own perspective and that the world is not actually what you see, the world is how you internally digest it, then you won't actually understand that. So the first thing that I want to make clear is that I don't like when people come into conversations and they say anything about anything being right or wrong, right? So at the end of the day, everything is someone else's opinion. And you can have an opinion that something is wrong, but to say objectively that thing is wrong, right? It's okay if you say, I think that this is wrong, but it's not okay if you say this is wrong. Because, like I've been saying, there's nothing that's wrong. Anyways, if you ever do something in your life that is fucking insane, right? You have a goal that's crazy, you want to do something that is not a regular thing to do, no one is going to understand that other than other people who are also on that same path. So the first thing I think that's important for anyone to do is kind of align themselves with people that are on that path. Right, which for me I kind of struggle with because a lot of people just and this is on no weird shit. I'm just saying it's hard for me to find people who kind of fire back the same type of thoughts that I have. And it's I was talking to my friend the other day and it's when we're in the gym, it's a lot of people like to have positive reinforcement when they're in the gym. It's you got this, man, one more set, come on, you're good, you got this. Personally, me, I don't like that. I don't like to be told that I got this. I'm someone who gets off from negative reinforcement. I like when people say, hey, you fucking suck, dude, you're not gonna get this. That has always helped me, and the ability to prove people wrong has been something that has always motivated me for a very long time. So there's just different gears that people are wound by. A lot of different people just have different ways of thinking about things. And if you're someone who has a different way of thinking about things, you need to align yourself with other people who have other different ways of thinking about things. And if you can't do that, which is totally possible, because I know that there's the whole argument that surround yourself with people who are like you. Well, what if I can't find anyone like me? Which is and people will say, then move or do something. But sometimes you're just stuck, man. Sometimes you're just stuck. You can't go anywhere. And the next best thing to do is to just inflict it upon yourself. And you be the person for yourself who motivates yourself in a way that no one else can. And you need to kind of create this internal hemisphere, this little bubble inside of your head that no one else can understand. And it's almost like, I think this is when people say, like, there's a Conor McGregor quote that, is it Conor McGregor or Van Gogh? Someone that's like, that's a crazy combo to mix up. But someone says something about you have to be a little bit gone to be the master of your craft. You have to be a little bit crazy to be the best in the world at something. And I think that stands true for literally anything, because if you want to be the best in the world at something, you have to understand it in a way that no one else does, and you have to be so driven towards it that every single person around you is telling you that you're insane and telling you that you should probably stop because it's unhealthy or stupid or whatever. And you need to kind of create, like, it helps so much to, I mean, this is just for my own personal experience, to motivate myself, right? To motivate myself through my own thoughts instead of looking for it exteriorly through other people. Because the fact is just that, like, there are so many people in the world who just, even, and I'm not even like shitting on people and saying that some people, that everyone is dumb and like you're special and whatever. I'm just saying, like, just off the premise that everyone thinks differently, it's going to be really, really, really hard for you to find someone who thinks not the same as you, but on the same kind of like vibrational level, or the same kind of like goals, but maybe off in like separate directions, but the same like level. You don't want someone who's like here and down here. You want someone who's like here and here, but they kind of just like part off, you know? So you still want perspective, you still want difference, but you want them to kind of be on the same field. So that's just like, I think that's a really, really, really important thing for people to do. And, you know, being able to inspire yourself through your own actions is like super key, especially when you go through the pits of hell and you're walking through shit, you know, you're walking through the fire and you don't really know what's going on. And, you know, like you feel kind of alone and you feel like a lot of people around you don't really understand you. Then you really need to like understand yourself. And I'm working on that for myself, to try and understand myself and be my own motivation, which is, I don't know, it's kind of hard, but I think like, one of the people who inspired me to do that was kind of Kanye, who, you know, although now he's a little bit fucking crazy, he always was very different from other people, and no one ever really thought the same as he did. People recognized that he was special, so they latched onto him. But you can kind of see through his documentary and other things that, like, no one was ever really on par with him. He was always kind of in his own stratosphere, figuring his own stuff out, pulling in other ideas and pulling in other people, but it was never like Kanye and someone else and the two of them like equally collaborated on something. Like if Kanye was on something, it was Kanye's project and he was bringing other people on, or if he was featured on something, it still kind of became Kanye's project, right? Like there's so many songs, fucking 4 or 5 seconds with him and Rihanna, where like Kanye has such a key role in that song that is so, you know, important to the structure of the song, that just like that literally like his part makes the whole song and he's a damn feature on it. Right? So it's like, I don't even know if he's a feature, it's just like a collaboration, whatever it is. The point is that if you are obsessed with something, you are going to by nature be a little bit crazy. And if you are going to be crazy, no one else is going to understand you. And if no one else is going to understand you, unless you want to be a lonely piece of shit for the rest of your life, you need to find people who are going to understand you, and you need to kind of understand yourself and just ball, bro. Like just be the person who doesn't give a shit about anyone else. Not like literally, I mean just like don't give a shit about what other people think or say about you. Like it's your life. Who's gonna come over and, you know, if someone comes, if you're making like videos, like if you're making videos like this and someone comes up to you and says your video is shit, like look at them and say, who fucking cares? I don't care if my video is shit. You know, go to hell. Like who are you? Things like this are so they become so I don't even know what they become. They're just dumb. And people take this kind of stuff so seriously, so literally. It's like, oh my God, it's the end all be all if someone comes and roasts you and says that, you know, something that you're doing is incorrect or bad or whatever. But they don't think the way that you do. You know, they don't think the way that you do. And every single person in the whole world is unique in their own way and has a drive that is like, I strongly believe that every single person has this like hidden deep down drive towards a goal that they just haven't found, and that's why they haven't really hit the drive, but they have a drive for something. And you know, everyone has a unique ability to harness that and do something absolutely insane, and everyone can kind of go crazy towards one thing. And I think that's kind of like, this is where I hope the world eventually gets, is to a place where we can understand each other and understand. Or not understand. I don't think the word understand is that good. I think the word appreciate is better, because you can't really understand someone, but you can appreciate people for who they are. And if you're a compassionate person, you can understand that everyone has their own set of opinions and set of differences because they see the world in their own unique way. And if you can understand that, then you can kind of just get the sense that, you know, like this person brings this to the table. And if I like it, they're on my team. If not, then they're not. And that's okay. And it's okay for people to think differently. And it's okay for people to, you know, be in a totally different mindset than anyone else's. But what's not okay is to tear people down for the way that they are if it's a deliberate thing that they are turning themselves into. Obviously, in some cases where people are being, for lack of better words, brainwashed, then maybe it's okay to see psychotherapy and whatever else. But for the most part, let people do their thing and you do your thing. And I think the more that you do your thing, the more you'll probably want other people to do their thing, because you'll realize how good it makes you feel to do your thing. So there's the holy rant. 10 minutes and 35 seconds.